Hello, my friends. Today, some very interesting news has emerged. Let's jump right into the situation at the border. In the Kharkiv direction, reports had surfaced that Ukrainian forces have repelled a Russian assault near the village of Zhuravlivka in the Belgorod region. This means that the Ukrainian forces have advanced onto Russian territory in the Belgorod region and taken control of Zhuravlivka. The advance here spans 3 kilometers and 300 meters with a width of around 6 kilometers and 900 meters. Interestingly, there hadn't been any previous reports of offensive actions by the Ukrainian forces in this section of the front, but as we can see, the situation has drastically changed. Whether there will be further movement is still a big question. It's clear that everything happening at the border is being conducted with great secrecy. So we'll be waiting to see how things develop further. Meanwhile, in the Liptsy area, only shelling has been recorded with no new attacks from the Russian side. Fighting also continues near the village of Tykhe, but the front line remains unchanged there. In the Kursk direction, there are still no official statements about any offensive actions taking place. Over the past day, no changes have been recorded here. However, due to the worsening situation in the Kupiansk direction, evacuations have begun from Kupiansk. Russian forces are now breaking through the fields from Sinkivka, advancing directly towards Kupiansk. Intense battles are also ongoing for Petropavlivka, and to the south, fighting is taking place for Kolesnikivka and Krugliakivka. Additionally, Have Shalom continues, but the front line hasn't changed over the past day. In the Borova direction, the situation remains difficult. Periodically, Russian forces manage to advance, which has led to the announcement of an evacuation in Borova. Offensive actions have been recorded around Lozova, Vishneve, Novoyegorivka, and Grekivka, but over the past day, the front line has remained unchanged. In the Krymina direction, the situation is also tense around Nevsky, with Russian forces already breaking through toward Novolubivka. It seems that changes along the front line are expected soon. Similarly, there are ongoing assaults on Terny, Yampolivka, and Torske, but no changes have been recorded in the past day, and the battles continue. In the Siversk direction, Russian forces are assaulting Verkhnyokaminsk and shelling continues. However, activity remains relatively low with only a few attacks per day and the front line remains unchanged. In the Chasiv Yar direction, the Russians have paused direct assaults on the city. Instead, they are trying to advance on the flanks near Orikhovo-Vasilievka and Deliivka. Other than that, the situation remains stable with no significant changes. In the Toretsk direction, Russian forces continue their assaults on Sherbynivka, but street fighting has slowed their progress. They are shelling the city heavily in an attempt to destroy Ukrainian positions and move forward. In the Pokrovsk direction, the situation is dire. Yesterday alone, Russian forces advanced nearly 12 kilometers. Alarmingly, after these advances, the distance to the Dnipropetrovsk region is now only 17 kilometers and 800 meters. The Russians are attempting to encircle Pokrovsk where the fields, as there are fewer settlements to slow that down. They are also storming Novopavlivka, which is close to Pokrovsk. Currently, the front line is just 2 kilometers and 900 meters from the outskirts of Pokrovsk. The Russians are actively assaulting Lysivka, Sukhy Yar, both of which are nearly encircled due to the recent Russian advances. Ukrainian forces describe the situation in Lysivka as critical. The Russians have begun mechanized assaults, and Ukrainian forces are struggling to withstand the pressure. They may be forced to retreat, which would severely impact the defense of Pokrovsk. In the area around Myrnograd, the situation is equally catastrophic, with Russian forces storming the city's outskirts and advancing through the fields from Hrodivka. Although they haven't achieved major successes in their assaults on Myrolюbivka, they have made significant progress further south. The Russians have managed to advance on two fronts near Selidove, creating a dire situation for the town. The roads leading to the city are now almost entirely under Russian control, making it increasingly difficult for Ukrainian forces to maneuver. Russian forces continue their assaults on Novodmitrivka, Novoselidivka, Izmailivka, Hirnik, Zoryane, and Kurahivka, slowly making progress, which has further destabilized the front line. In the Kurakhove direction, fighting continues for Katerinivka, with Russian forces attempting to advance through the fields toward Antonivka, but the situation remains unchanged for now. In the Vuhledar direction, Russian forces are assaulting Bogoyavlenka, attempting to break through from Vodene across the fields to approach Bogoyavlenka from the east. However, the situation here has remained stable for the past few days, as Ukrainian forces have successfully repelled all attacks. In the Zaporizhia direction, Russian forces continue their offensive actions on Novodanilivka and Malatokmachka, but they have made no progress and the front line remains unchanged over the past 24 hours. In the Kherson direction, shelling continues on the right bank as well as offensive actions in the area of Hola Pristan. However, reports indicate that explosions were once again recorded near Skadovsk. Possibly another Russian ammunition depot is burning. So we are waiting for more details. Meanwhile, reports suggest that France will not be able to keep its promise of aid to Ukraine. France will not fulfill its pledge of 3 billion euros in an aid to Ukraine in 2024 due to a budget deficit. Back in February, Paris and Kyiv signed a bilateral security agreement that officially provided for up to 3 billion euros in military support for the year. However, France now needs to reduce its budget deficit, which could reach 6% of GDP in 2024. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, friends. And that's all from me. So please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.